Hi, my name's Kate Woodson, and I am currently a full-time digital content specialist. I work as a freelance social media manager and SEO specialist. Today I'm going to share with you the steps in my social media strategy and implementation plan. At the end of this, I'll also share with you a downloadable template so you can keep track of your key social media metrics. Alright, so let's get into it. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is create some SMART goals. Now, these goals are the same SMART goals you created in school. They should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. The example below, we will grow our LinkedIn following by 10% by the end of each quarter, is a great SMART goal for 3 reasons. First, it tells us where this goal is going to take place on the LinkedIn platform. Second, it gives us a measurement to shoot for, 10%. And lastly, it's time-based. It tells us we need to achieve this by the end of each quarter. The next thing you're going to need to do is you need to know your audience. And the best way to do this is to build an audience persona. Now, these personas can be as detailed as you want them to be, but I would not recommend them being less than what is on the page here. Age, location, average income, and interests. That's pretty much the bare bones. So if you do have the time, try and really get into it and make it as detailed as you can. Now, you can find a lot of this information, if not all of it, on Google Analytics. Google Analytics will show you the age, gender, interests, the locations where your audience is getting onto your website, how they're getting on there, are they using a mobile phone, a desktop, what exactly are they typing into the search engine that gets them to your website. I find Google Analytics really saves time and gives me a well-rounded picture of my audience. I find the information to be very invaluable, but it isn't the end of the world if you don't feel comfortable with Google Analytics or you don't have it set up on your website yet. You can always check out your competition. Alright, now number 3. When you're checking out the competition, also you need to look at yourself. What's working? What isn't? Who's engaged? And do your users prefer a different social channel? Are you finding that your competitors are getting lots of traffic and likes on their Instagram page where you're not? Are they posting more pictures? Are they posting more videos? So not only should you be auditing your own social media, you should definitely be checking out the competition to see if there are any holes that you might be able to fill. By this point, you have a ton of data. You've got your audience personas, you have your lists of what's working and what's not, you have the goals you want to achieve. So now it's time for you to set up your networks. With all the data you should have a good idea of what networks your users will be frequenting. When you're creating posts, always remember to create with specific intent and also remember those SMART goals that you created. Side pro tip, avoid cross-posting when possible. Try to cater each post to the network and your target audience on that network. Alright, so number 5. As mentioned a few slides back, Hootsuite is an excellent free social media scheduler to use. It, like many other schedulers, Sprout Social, Agorapulse, have varying levels of paid services you can use. But I do find Hootsuite to be the best, specifically the Hootsuite professional level, because it allows me to use their UTM creator, and I link that with my Google Analytics to find out which posts are doing the best and how people are reaching those posts. The last step is checks and balances. Just because you've got everything scheduled, you've got your goals, you're going to need to make sure that everything keeps flowing, everything keeps going. And you do that by continually auditing and reviewing key metrics to make sure that your content's connecting with your audience. Now, the links on the following sheet will help you do just that. And again, I know I keep banging on about Google Analytics. It might, seem over your head or intimidating, but if you really go in there, sign up, take a few of their free, video courses, it will really help you understand the content that you're putting out there and how your audience is reacting to it, and it will save you time and money in the long run. All right, so let's go on to some of these downloadable sheets. All right, now this is my analytics cheat sheet. Obviously, we have our link for Google Analytics. There is also a link for a URL builder. Now, this will help you track exactly where people are clicking on your links. You may see these already in your or in other competitors' social media posts. Typically, they end up being very, very long URLs. So people use the URL shorteners, like the third bullet on the cheat sheet. Bitly.com, that's a very popular one to use. But if you are using Hootsuite, they actually use Owly, and it's already built in there. So it's one more thing you don't have to think about, again, if you're going to use Hootsuite. But everything as far as scheduling goes, I would recommend trying out different schedulers. They all pretty much have free trials. I believe some of them are up to 28 days. Other ones are about 2 weeks. So nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? But I have found Hootsuite, again, to be very helpful in my case. So now this is just a little sample of the downloadable Excel spreadsheet I have available to you guys. What I do every week is I go ahead and I visit all the analytics on the platforms, and I take stock of what's working and what's not. There's also a bonus spreadsheet where I keep my most popular posts, and I go ahead and make different graphs based off of, were the images more popular, were the videos more popular. I also have it subdivided into products, and all of that is available to you if you just want to click the download button. But we'll just talk about LinkedIn here for a minute. Now, obviously, you're going to want to know your followers. I also do posts per week. And then again, I know I keep talking about Google Analytics, but I go into Google Analytics. I also take some data from there as well. And then moving on, engagement is very important, as I'm sure you all know by now. But it's also important that you distinguish between organic and paid, because if you do decide to go down that route, it is kind of mind-boggling how many clicks they can get. I mean, obviously, there's targeting and all of those things, but it's always important to make sure you keep the organic and the paid separately, so you don't kind of get a false confidence of like what's connecting and what's not connecting. Also, something to remember too with paid is, again, if you're going to use the analytics, you want to pay attention to the bounce rates, because if people are getting to your website, that's fantastic. But if they're not sticking around, that's telling me that something isn't connecting. So always pay attention to the clicks and if people are staying on there. Now, reactions, comments, and shares, those are also attached to engagement. And then we have the unique impressions and the sponsored impressions. Now, on the downloadable template spreadsheet, you'll see that I have different metrics for each social platform. Now, obviously, if this is kind of overkill for you, definitely pare it down, but I would always recommend keeping that engagement metric going. You always want to keep track of that, and also the clicks are very helpful. Sometimes you can find likes to be a little bit of a shallow metric. You know, people kind of scroll through Instagram and they're just like clicking like on everything. But a lot of times, if you can get someone to open that video, that's the money right there. That's what you want. So I hope this has been really helpful. If you do have any questions for me at all, my contact information is in the PowerPoint. And go forth and make great social. Thank you.